What's up guys, Everything Apple Pro here, and we're getting so close to the iPhone 7 release, less than half a year away. We actually just crossed that midway bump between the refresh cycles, so we're going to be seeing this thing, relatively soon. I made so many videos about leaks, rumors, patents, everything, and I thought, why not compile it into one video to give you guys the best possible idea of what we're looking at from Apple when it comes to the iPhone in 2016. The iPhone 7, 7 Pro, and 7 Plus. I'm going to show you everything we currently know about these devices. So, what will it look like? We've already talked about this in my last video. A leaked design of the iPhone 7 from an AutoCAD sort of program, a render, basically shows it won't change much on the outside, but there certainly will be differences. The iPhone 6S wasn't much of an upgrade from the 6 in terms of looks. The 7 will be more of an upgrade, but still, it won't be a full redesign. So, what we currently know about it, based on these leaked images, basically someone took the renders, the leaked images, and made their own concept in higher quality of it. So take a look at these. I've shown you them already, but just to give you an idea, the iPhone 7 will still keep that rounded design. It won't be more squared. It will have a flush camera though. The standard 7 will not have a protruding camera. The antenna bands on the back of the device will remove the horizontal midsection, so it'll just curve around the back, top and bottom. It looks very great in the images. It's very similar to the new iPad Pro LTE bands, so they curve around in that sort of manner. And unfortunately, we won't be seeing a huge redesign like expected. That'll actually come in 2018. So Ming-Chi Kao, one of the best analysts in the Apple world, is basically saying Apple will revert to an older legacy iPhone 4 design in 2018. Now this means we could possibly even skip the S upgrade and no longer see a 7S, but just skip to the iPhone 8 in 2017. That is a possibility. But for now, the iPhone 7 will keep mostly the same design, just some sleeker, less annoying antenna bands, slightly thinner design, and flush camera. So model details. Now I talk about iPhone 7 Plus Pro, all these models all the time, but really what we're looking at is an iPhone 7 and an iPhone 7 larger size. In this larger size, Ming-Chi Kao is saying we're going to be seeing a 7 Plus and 7 Pro. The Pro will be slightly better. It'll have that dual lens camera setup, not just the one single lens of the iPhone 7. It'll have an exclusive 3 gigabytes of RAM and possibly an exclusive 256 gigabytes storage option. So look-wise, it won't change much, but about the enclosure itself, it will be at least a millimeter thinner. So Ming-Chi Kao is saying it'll be between 6.0 to 6.5 millimeters. That makes it almost as thin as the iPod Touch 6th generation, which is at 6.1 millimeters. Now, in order to get this thinner size, Apple did have to change around some things on the inside. So first off, we do have a thinner lightning port enclosure. Some new EMI shielding inside on the logic board allows for more dense, compact logic board design, and that'll actually help you get more battery life and a slightly thinner design in general, and no headphone jack. So the thing everybody's been talking about is actually happening. Apple will not be including a headphone jack in the iPhone 7. This will actually help make the device thinner, but it's not really why Apple's removing it. Why is Apple removing the headphone jack? Just like the floppy drive, the CD drive, USB-A ports, like they're all disappearing, and it's all for a reason, because Apple sees the future, a future of wireless connectivity where people don't really use these standards anymore. The headphone jack has been around for over 40 years, and Apple's thinking it's about time to get rid of it in favor of a new lightning jack. So this lightning jack that's currently available, of course, in all iPhones, will be able to stream high quality audio, even higher quality than currently available over the 3.5 millimeter jack. So not only will it help make a smaller, thinner phone, it'll actually help you get higher quality audio from those headphones. So Apple will be including new lightning connector headphones in the box of the iPhone 7 and 7 Pro or Plus models. Basically, it'll connect inside the lightning enclosure and you'll get very high quality audio from them. So now that begs the question, how will you charge your device while listening to music? And that could possibly mean wireless charging could be included in the new iPhone 7. However, that's something that's less likely to happen. But Apple will be selling separate wireless headphones, and they've actually trademarked that as AirPods. So AirPods will be available as an optional accessory to purchase, but the headphones will be lightning connector included in the box. And in the actual patent notes, Apple details a hybrid wireless wired option for these headphones. Basically, they'd be wireless on their own, but when the battery dies, you can plug them into the wire and actually have a wired connection. And also, as a result of no headphone jack, there will be stereo speakers, making this the very first iPhone to have stereo speakers. All of them just had mono, just one speaker on the bottom, and I'm actually looking forward to that. I use my phone as a speaker often. I'd love to have better audio with that. And this is supported by the fact that the case leaks show a very even design on both sides of the speaker ports. So no longer do you have a headphone jack, just two speakers making a stereo speaker setup. The iPhone 7 may have an iPad Pro-like smart connector. So in those leaked images, if we zoom in real close on the bottom of the phone, you can see 3 pins. Now those 3 pins are just like the ones on the iPad Pro. Now it's unknown what this could mean for the iPhone, but we can guess that this would open up a world to third-party, cases, different things, maybe even wireless options for this iPhone. Basically, higher transfer speeds, faster charging through these ports. And it's unknown if this is legit, if this is just a testing model. We know Apple's testing many variations of the iPhone 7, but a smart connector may be included on the back of the iPhone 7. Storage. Apple will be upping the base storage to 32 gigabytes. Of course, media sizes are on the rise, and Apple's latest Pro iPads all have a base model storage of 32 gigabytes. Now for the lineup, we might be seeing 32, 128, and 256 on the iPhone 7 Pro model. On the iPhone 7 and 7 Plus models, 32, 64, and 128 seem reasonable. Now getting to displays, it's unlikely we'll see a huge change here. Apple will be updating the resolution, but the technology will remain LCD IPS panel. We do need OLED, that is coming, it has been confirmed in the future, likely 2017 or 2018, but for now, LCD technology with a resolution bump on the standard iPhone 7 from a 750 by 1334 resolution to a 1920 by 1080p resolution, making it full HD. So that means you're going from 326 pixels per inch to 469. That's quite an increase. The larger iPhone 7 Plus is unlikely to get a resolution bump, as it will remain at 1920 by 1080p resolution. If it were to get one, it would go up, of course, to QHD display, 2560 by 1440 resolution. It's a shame, really. Every Android smartphone nowadays comes with a QHD display. Apple should really catch up, but it's unlikely to happen with the iPhone 7 Plus or Pro. They'll remain at 1080p. So what's powering these monsters? The Apple A10 chip. So Apple's rapidly approaching Intel with their chip technology. Intel should be scared. Apple's actually able to stack so many 3D transistors in the space of the A9 chip. You get a ton of power for such a small chip. And 16 nanometers is the confirmed configuration of the Apple A10 chip. TSMC actually just signed a contract. They'll be producing 100% of the chips for Apple for the iPhone 7, of course, in 16 nanometer size. When it comes to RAM, Apple's going to be sticking 2 gigabytes LPDDR4 in the iPhone 7, so no change there. But the iPhone 7 Pro will receive an exclusive 3 gigabytes of DDR4 RAM. So battery. The iPhone 7 will receive a larger battery. So Apple is actually using several new technologies that would allow them to free up the space inside of the shell of the iPhone 7, making way for a larger battery. Of course, I talked about EMI shielding. It'll reduce electromagnetic interference on the board itself. That technology is currently being used in the Apple Watch, but what this technology also allows for is more compact internals, meaning a larger battery. So a leaked battery image actually shows that it has a higher watt per hour rating than the iPhone 6s current battery, making it about 1810 to 1820 mAh. So it will be larger than the 6s, about the size of the old iPhone 6 battery, but with more efficient internals, it'll equal out to better battery life. And there is no word on the iPhone 7 Plus or 7 Pro battery just yet, but I'm sure that one will leak in a little bit. So cameras. Apple has an active engineering team of over 800 people that work on iPhone cameras. I think that's really incredible, and the iPhone 7 is going to be a benchmark in camera performance for Apple. So what do we know about the camera setup on the iPhone 7? We know the iPhone 7 itself will receive a larger camera. It will have a larger overall size, but it will remain flush thanks to a new patent that allows for better configuration of the internals of the lens. So you'll get a lot of nice fancy technology. Of course, to do better in low light, it'll have a larger aperture, all the good stuff. But the real focus is on the iPhone 7 Pro. It'll have that dual lens setup. The actual lens module was leaked, and it basically shows an Apple-like design. This thing would fit inside a larger iPhone 7 Pro or Plus shell, but most likely the Pro model. So it will protrude. This will not be flat on the Pro model because, this thing is huge. This thing is going to allow for so much awesome new technology. As a result, it will protrude. Now, what can you do with a dual lens setup? Selective focus. You take a picture, you can focus on different areas of the picture after taking it. You can record multiple streams of video at the same time. So you record, you have slow motion available later for edit, 4K, 1080p, whatever you want. I think that's really incredible. It'll take up a ton of storage, but that of course can probably be disabled by a software feature. And we do know that Apple owns Lynx Imaging, a company they purchased a little bit earlier that specializes in multi-lens setups. So that's something very, very likely, 100% that's coming to the larger iPhone 7 Pro. And with that leaked image, basically confirms it. And real quick before I forget, optical zoom is possible. So because you have one standard lens and a telephoto lens, you basically have a wide range of field available right away. So you can actually zoom using optical zoom instead of it being digitally cropped zoom. I think that's really, really cool. Because of that dual lens setup, that's just one of the benefits of many that you get. So talking about wireless, Intel has been confirmed to ship the actual modem chip on the iPhone 7, raising the download speed to 450 megabits versus 300 currently on the iPhone 6s. It's still not up to par with the S7, but it's getting there. All right, so that's it for the specs. Basically, in a nutshell, when can we expect it? September 2016. It's no surprise Apple releases their iPhones every single year. The iPhone SE didn't count. That was a smaller upgrade, but the actual new refresh will be in September. The actual details of daytimes, it will be known closer to the event, but right now we just know September. And it'll be the very first iPhone to ship with iOS 10 as standard. We don't know much about that, but we know it'll have a lot of improvements to Siri, possibly a graphical redesign, as it is that time in the TikTok schedule of iOS. Every 3 iOS versions, there is a major revision. So what are some of the things that are less likely to happen that have been talked about as well? Waterproofing. Waterproofing may happen eventually, but not in the iPhone 7. So Mac Atakara basically confirmed that the 6S and iPhone 7 share the exact same water resistance, which is basically none. So basically, any further iPhones in the future, thanks to all those new patents, may receive this technology, unlikely in the iPhone 7. Wireless charging. It may happen because of the problem with the headphone jack being removed, charging, listening to music at the same time. What are you going to do? Wireless charging is a solution to that problem, although it might not happen. And then there's a lot of talk about no home button on this thing. Apple does have patents for built-in Touch ID in the display, but it's unlikely with this version of the iPhone we'll see no home button. In the future with OLED, that will be more possible, unlikely again with the iPhone 7. So a couple other smaller things we might see. USB 3.0 will be standard. That'll allow for fast charging, just like that new charger we've seen with the new iPad Pro 12.9 edition. Fast charging on the iPhone is much needed, very welcome. The iPhone 7 as standard might get optical image stabilization thanks to a new lens setup and 3D Touch 2nd generation, which would allow for multiple fingers on the display to detect pressures with multiple fingers. And in conclusion, I just wanted to bring up a statement from Mossberg. So an analyst, also investor, this guy is basically saying the iPhone 7 has a ton of ground to catch up on. There hasn't been a huge redesign in forever. The iPhone SE and iPad Pro are just derivatives of, earlier products. There's no groundbreaking new technology. The Galaxy S7, which I've got over there, has been biting at Apple's heels. This thing has really caught up and surpassed Apple in many ways. And all he's saying is that iPhone has a long way to go. And with the iPhone 7, it better be spectacular, as quoted by him. So I'm really, really hoping that a lot of these are true. And as we get closer, of course, we'll be able to confirm more and more of them. But that is the iPhone 7 in a nutshell. So thanks so much for watching, guys. Hopefully I gave you a good, clear, concise idea of what the iPhone lineup will look like in 2016. And it's looking to be pretty dang good. So thanks so much for watching, guys. Have a great day. Be sure to check out the earlier iPhone 7 video as well. I talk a lot about the smaller points in there. Peace.